Hello guys! So 2 weeks ago I went to the Hungarian Open 2023 competition and now that's the review about it. So the first event was Mega Minx and the cut of the get on average was 130 this time because for some reason they lowered it by 5 seconds. So last time it was a 135, this time it's a 130, so I had to do an even faster solve in order to make that. And last time barely missed it by a couple of hundreds, which I was really angry about it. And I thought this could happen to me once again. The first solve itself was really good. I was doing very well. It had some little hesitations, which is very normal on a Mega Minx, but unfortunately, this happened once again. Yep, I was just outside the cutoff by half a second again, so great start to the competition. The second solve was a complete disaster. It was so slow, I messed up a lot of parts, lots of poses, so it ended up with a 143. So yeah, I didn't make the average. Better luck next time. The second event for me was 7x7, and I got the new MGC cube like 2 weeks before this, but it was already better than the previous one, but I wasn't expecting anything good. I got 451 at the end, which is a good time for me. It was a solid solve. Obviously I didn't make cutoff because it is too strong for me right now, but yeah, it was a good solve in general. I was happy about it. But I can't say the same about the next event, which was 6x6. The solve itself was really bad. It was really slow, I messed up a lot of parts. So yeah, it wasn't looking too good to get into sub 3 minutes, which was the cutoff for the average. But normally I could do it with a really good solve, but this was not the case clearly. I got really unlucky as well. My cube popped towards the end, which didn't help of course, and also got triple parity as well, which ruined it, but it was totally mess, so let's just move on to the next one. And now we are moving on to the second day of the competition on Saturday. The first event was 5x5 and I was really excited about it. Unfortunately I failed them in the recent competition, so I wanted to do a better job of course. The cutoff was again 130, 1 minute 30, the same as on the Mega Minx. And the first solve started really well. I did some nice executions, and it was a nice solve in general, but of course I had to miss out it again by a second in the end. So I was really furious because it happened once again. The second solve was also looking really good. It was definitely on pace to beat the 130, and it was a really nice solve. So yeah, I was going really fast at the end, and luckily I clutched it at the very last step despite messing up the OLL, so I was very happy about it that I made the cutoff and got an average. The remaining 3 solves were a bit slower, like around 136, so I ended up with a 135 average, but I am fine with it and I was really happy just to get an average, and also that was my first PR of the competition as well. The second event of the day was clock, and the cutoff this time was 14 seconds. The first solve was not too bad, not too great, it was kind of an average, ended up with a 15.10, which is barely slow, lower than the cutoff, so I had to do it again on the next solve. The second scramble looked really good at first, but I messed up before it even started because I completely choked the first few moves, and I knew I messed up meanwhile instantly. So yeah, it ended up with a 20, and I failed the average once again. The next was square one, event I don't really care too much. The cutoff was 35 seconds, which normally I could do it. I have a 32 official average somehow. And but both of these solves ended up terrible. I got a 44 and a 47, which is like 10 seconds slower than my average. Both of these cube shapes were terrible, and also the rest of the solve was also really unlucky. So yeah, at least we're laughing about it while solving. So yeah, let's just move on to the next one. And we are approaching to a 3x3 blind for this section. I was really interested about this event. I practiced a lot for this. I really wanted to get an official result, no matter how slow it is, just to get a success, because all of the previous times I failed it in the last 4 competitions. So I thought this will be my success, and it started well. I memorized everything what I had to memorize. The slope itself was really slow. It was 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Normally I was getting 4 and 5 minutes. Before that I did everything what I planned, except I forgot about the flip piece, the blue-red one, which you can see here. Because of this I didn't memorize. I forgot it for some reason. It ended up with a DNF, unfortunately. But the funny thing is, from my perspective, it looks solved because the missing pieces were at the back, so I couldn't really see it until then I started to look around more, and I realized, oh shit, I messed up somehow. So I was really sad about it. But yeah, better luck next time. After the lunch break, the side events were on the table. First of all, pyramids. I usually average like 6 or 7 seconds with this. These solves were not the best. They were kind of slower a little bit. Ended up with 740 average, with the best single being only 6.5, which is not so good for a single. But yeah, I made it to the next round. So yeah. Nothing more to say about it. Just move on to the scoop one.
Okay, let's do because
the first solve was a low 5, which is pretty good for me. So I was thinking, oh yeah, good start. Let's keep it up. The next solve was a 6.5, and it was also good, like average. But the third solve was the boa part, because it was so incredibly good. I get a 3.7, but I normally don't get any 3s very often, so I was very surprised about it. The fourth solve was bad. I dropped the cube in the meantime. Also it had some really bad cases, so yeah, it ended up with an 8. But I knew if I clutch up the last solve, it would be a really good average. And boy, I did it. Despite the huge lockup at the end, which costed me like half a second. Could have been a 4-second solve, but yeah, overall I was super happy about the average. The next event was one-handed. It started with a bang average solve. I got a 26 at the end, which is very normal. But before the second solve, Yanis loved my phone stand, which was hilarious.
Is this a phone stand?
Yes.
Oh my god, this is so creative. I love this.
Unfortunately, it didn't give me any luck for the actual solve because somehow I messed up my R-perm. So I had to restart the whole solve, ended up with a 1+ minute time. So it was a disaster, but the reaction was worth it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
The next two solve was also average. Got a 25 and a 23. The 23 is a good time, so definitely better progress. But the last and fifth solve was really good. I was so fast during the whole time. And yeah, Unfortunately, I kind of messed up the Viper at the end, but it was still personal record by 600 of a second, so I was happy about it, of course. After a 1-3, there were the second rounds of the two-side event. So first of all, it was Pyraminx once again, and I was really surprised how well it went because I had 5 really good solves, honestly. The first one was a 6.5, the second one was a 6.1, and yeah, really good start so far. The third one was a 6 again, but I had some slow reactions, so it could have been definitely faster. But the last two was the really unexpected ones. I got a low 5, almost a 4, the fourth one, which was really good. And then somehow I beat that in the next one. So ended up with a 572 average, which is totally unexpected, and I was super happy about it because it was out of nowhere to get this good result for me.
Thank you.
And now onto the cube. It started really well again. I also got a low 5 once again, like last time. The next solve was a bit of a failure. I had some lockups, ended up with a 6.8, which is still not too bad, but definitely could have been better. But the third solve was again really unexpected. I almost got a 3 again, ended up with a 4.0 with the skip at the end. So I was thinking, okay, this could be really good again. The fourth solve unfortunately ended up terrible despite being really good. I was on a pace to get another 4-second solve, but the cube unfortunately popped at the last turns, so I had to reassemble it, and I was really sad about it because it could have been a really good time. The last solve was kind of an average 6.2, and the average ended up being 6.1, and without the pop definitely could have beaten the average from the first round, but it is what it is. It happens sometimes. Now we are moving on to Sunday. The first was 4x4, one of my favorite events. Unfortunately, last time I failed it terrible, which was so disappointing at the time. But now, before that, on practice, I got some very good solves, and I was feeling very confident about it that it could happen in the actual competition as well. The first solve was super good. I instantly broke my PR by 3 seconds. I got a 42 somehow. My best was a 45 before that, so it was really awesome. The second solve was also went good. I got a 48 in the end, which is still very good. Anything sub 50 is good for me. So yeah, I was happy about it. The third solve also was really good. The time was a 46 this time, so I had a counting 46 after that, which is super good. So yeah, the first 3 solves were fantastic, so it looked really good so far. I only needed one more good solve from the remaining 2 to get an insanely good average, which was my goal, of course. Unfortunately, I completely messed up the fourth solve. It was really bad. Also got double parity, I think. So yeah, it was unlucky and also bad. I was so slow there for some reason. Ended up with a 56, which is very slow compared to the other times what I got before. So I had one last solve, but unfortunately I got a little bit too nervous before the solve, and I couldn't concentrate that much. Also made some small mistake which didn't help, of course. So it ended up with a 54, which is good, but it's kind of ruined the average. The average was still sub 50, like 49, which is good in general, but looking back at it, it had so much more potential, and it was a shame that I couldn't do good, couldn't do well at the last 2 solves. Next up was 3x3, and it was really horrendous. It was my worst ever official 3x3 average by far, with only one good result and the rest were dog shit. The first solve was really slow, it had lots of pauses, ended up with a 16. The next solve was kind of alright until the last step, which I failed as usual.
To show you.
The third solve was even worse. I made a mistake at the start already, and even another small mistakes at the middle part, and it was an 18 and I thought this couldn't get any worse, but wait until the last solve. The fourth solve was the only good one. It was a 13, which is really good, like good. But the last solve is where I messed up everything, even the cross by completely, not even close. And also the middle, the F12, it ended up being a 17 average, but still barely made it to the next round. It was really tight, but yeah, I was on the good side. After that it was 2x2, and I started badly again. I got 2 5-second solves, which are not great, but after that I got 2 good ones, the 3-second ones, which they were really smooth, especially the second one. But unfortunately I failed the last solve as well and ended up with a 4.8 average without even getting a 4-second time. So yeah, very funny. After the lunch break there were the second rounds. First of all 4x4 again. This time I got a bit slower, like around 50 to 53 solves, which is my average usually. So obviously it was slower than the first round. The last solve was incredibly good. I got a 41 second solve, which is like top 5 overall. So yeah, I was super happy about it. The average, I got a 52.2, which is normal. But the single, I wasn't expecting that to beat the 42 from the previous run, but I was super happy about that. I did even better. After the disappointment in round 1, I completely turned it around for round 2. Every solve was amazing. I was learning so fast, so consistent throughout the whole session. Even the verse solve in the average was really good. So yeah, everything just clicked, and I was super happy about it to get these really good results after a huge failure in round 1. And I successfully beat both my personal records, both the single and the average, and it ended up being a 13.6 average, which is like a second faster than what times I usually get. So I was super happy about it, that after the disappointment of round 1, it has been a very happy end. And the last event for me was 2x2 second round, and this time I did the complete opposite from what happened in the first round, because I got 4-second average with only getting 4-second times, and it was my most consistent average ever. You know, the single being so close to the average is very rare, especially on 2x2. Ended up with a 4.1 average, which is good usually, but seeing that without a 3-second time at least is very funny. And that's the end of the competition. I really enjoyed being there. It was so good to see familiar faces there, especially meeting some of my old friends back from 2020. Overall, I got lots of personal records, which is really good. Obviously some failures, which is part of it. It happens, of course. My next competition will be in the first weekend of December in Bratislava, Slovakia. That will be my first time there. So yeah, new experience, new challenges. Up until then, have a nice weekend and whatever. See you soon. Bye.